Hello, my beautiful souls. Welcome into your daily read. This is going to be for Thursday, the 2nd of February, 2023. I do want to thank you so much for joining me for this reading. As always, do keep in mind, this is general for the day for all 12 signs, so just take what resonates and leave the rest behind. I do apologize for skipping the beginning of the month, the 1st. I did attempt to get it done and it just didn't happen for a significant reason, but anyways, we won't get into it. We're going to jump right to the tarot and pull, I want to say, let's do for each quarter of the day, so 4 cards in total, and then we'll see where we go from there, if I could even speak this early in the day. We're using the Modern Witch Tarot deck. Okay, the Hermit card, the 5 of Cups, 9 of Wands, and the 2 of Swords. All right, so naturally, I want to say the whole day, or the majority of which, this 5 of Cups is feeling kind of as if it's almost bleeding into other aspects or other parts of the day where you're expecting the worst. Don't allow something that lacks perfection or just feels a bit difficult or just has proven you right in a negative sense to bleed into, or just to affect another area of your life, okay, or another situation or multiple. That's a significant reminder. But we have the Hermit card, as you can see, with the Knight of Cups. So the beginning of the day, the first quarter, highlights a level of, I want to say, emotional movement in a very to oneself sort of way. This could be more so for some drawn to the reading, just watering one's well-being, right? Self-care, trying to fill your own cup up, or go after certain levels of fulfillment, or one level for yourself. But I do feel like some drawn to the reading are spending significant time alone in this first quarter. Depending on your individual situation, you could be working, you could be working out, you could be just relaxing, you could be going through naturally your morning routine or your beginning of the day routines. But I feel like whatever it ends up being for you, some of which are naturally feeling a bit emotional in the midst of which. Now, if we look forward towards the 9 of Wands for the third quarter, I do feel like there is a potential for some, the majority of the day, like we mentioned with the 5 of Cups, as well the 9 of Wands kind of playing into the day as a whole, feeling a bit burnt out. But I do feel like there's a need to, especially in the first half of the day, to expect the best, right? You're going to manifest a day that you are foreseeing, or that you're imagining or expecting, at least to certain extents. So try to keep or bring yourself back to that optimistic, positive perspective, because it's a day where you have more power or more control than you think. And it just feels like you have so much positivity and success and different aspects of your situation at hand that you can be grateful for, right? And focus on, and just allow that to help you come back to that positive way of being, that optimistic state of mind, right? Don't focus on the negatives. Don't focus on what has been making you emotional, or just what is. They're saying steer clear, and you know what that means for you. Let's shift this over. But the 5 of Cups, as you can see, moving on to the second quarter, making your way to wrap up the first half of the day. And I feel like it's this feeling that you can't help but notice the imperfections, or somebody, if not multiple people, that are rubbing you the wrong way, or that are actually working against you for some. And I know how this works for me, but how does it work for you? This could be you thinking about the past for some. This could be you thinking about that job or that relationship that just isn't thriving at this time for you, or you're not thriving with that situation or in it. But it doesn't remind you this isn't meant for you, all right? Or it's not meant for you in the long run. I feel like for some, you're being reminded time and time again, and this is another day like that, the type of energies or the type of situations that, or one in particular, that it's not meant for you, right? And it's okay to notice this and allow it to push you in the right direction, but to focus on it in the time during this day to this extent is not going to benefit you, right? And so this is a day where you need to take the lessons, right, or the reminders with a grain of salt is what they're saying, but just digest them, but allow your focus after you get this reminder or this lesson or multiple to be put towards, once again, something of positivity. I'm getting the vibe that online content or potentially somebody of, they're saying funny importance in your life. It could be a group conversation for some. Allow something of the sort, you knowing what it probably is for you, to uplift you, to make you smile, to make you laugh, because it feels like you kind of need something of the sort to just shake you out. It could be a comedy show or a movie, to shake you out of that sort of stiff or negative, kind of moody way of being. And I feel like this will help you greatly. But I do feel like it's a day where overall you're going to be feeling tired, right? And potentially almost expecting to be a bit defensive in certain ways. But it feels like you're learning more about what they're saying, especially in the second quarter, about what you're meant to be heading towards and going after. Even if it's for some a year down the line, even if it's a couple months or a month down the line, this is preparation for you to make the best until the best and allow yourself to make room mentally, emotionally for what's more fitting for you and what's right for you, okay? But it just feels like we can't have you fitting in with that person or that situation 1000%, because at the end of the day, this isn't going to help you thrive in the end, right? Or that person isn't going to help you, that group of people. There's a sense that you need to also think thoroughly in a simplistic manner, if that makes sense. I know it sounds a bit contradicting, but be strategic when it comes to your money, all right? Because we have a leap of faith that could potentially cost you some money for some drawn to the reading, and we need you to be prepared for that change, that switch up. But it feels like this is a day where some of you are being pushed to think about and prepare for, in certain ways, a leap of faith that doesn't cost you money. It's going to obviously differ from case to case, but I feel like it could be a day where you're running around at times. You may feel a bit restless, or you might feel a bit kind of pulled in different directions or intuitively guided to run in different directions, feeling like, okay, well, I can't stay here because the energy they're saying sucks or just isn't proper, isn't comfortable. So I have to just kind of burn myself out a little bit more. But Spirit's saying pace yourself, because it just feels like all the meanwhile, there are certain levels of motivation and just motivation wrapped up into that restlessness, or just that having to move at certain points, because it feels like you're going through that balancing act. And look at that. Bear with me as I lose my breath. There is some annoying background noise. The Tower card talking about how this is inevitable, an inevitable ending on the horizon that we need you to prepare for. But as you can see, we're moving on to the third quarter, where we have the Nine of Wands. Nine of Wands. So don't be surprised when the third quarter arrives and you feel that burnt out way of being. But it feels like in the midst of which there is that magical touch, that magical vibe. There's going to be a reminder of your value, of your passionate presence, I want to say. And I feel like they're saying through this third quarter, nothing can get you down, right? If you don't allow it to. It's this feeling that you as an individual are reminded at this point in the day, when you get kicked down, when things feel a bit rough, when things don't feel perfect, you get right back up, right? At least you should. And I feel like you deal with a lot, but it doesn't, they're saying, ruin your character. Beautiful. But it's this point in the day that reminds you the possibilities are endless. And you need to remember that anything that's meant to end, any tower moment that's meant to come to be, and you should remember past tower moments as an example of this. Protection, right? Protection. Purposeful change to make room for what's better. And it's almost this feeling that when you're wrapped up with something so closely, it's so hard to realize that there's something better out there, right? And in spirit saying, whatever it ends up being for you, even if it's a change within a situation, manifest it, my friend. Manifest it. Spirit's backing you up all the meanwhile, even if you're one to be consistently or occasionally spiritually messed with. Me being heavily one of those individuals. But I just feel like it's this point in the day where it's like half of you is feeling empowered and half of you is feeling quite burnt out, right? You might be feeling as if you can do whatever you please or you can manifest whatever you want, but then physically you're just slowing down a bit, okay? But we're moving on to the end of the day where we have the Two of Swords. And so I feel like that kind of guarded way of being comes into play even more. But there's a sense of you finishing up the day thinking about the answers you don't have, the clarity you lack. But I feel like it's this part of the day where the number 22 comes into play. But you're feeling as if, again, a reminder that the possibilities are endless. But I do feel as if you're thinking about how you're going through this balancing act and how something that you're working on or beginning or both is going to benefit you in regards to this tower moment, in regards to a change, in regards to your future looking brighter than your current day situation and your past. But I feel like there will be a sense of clarity, even if it's very slight coming in. And I do feel like you'll finish up the day with a bit of rewarding oneself for just celebration, and you'll be reminded why you should be celebrating. And I feel like this is tied into your independence and your work, I feel, for some. But I do feel like all the meanwhile is the end of the day where, given you're probably still in that Nine of Wands vibe, to finish up this specific Thursday, you need to dig for the inner strength and just do what you have to do to feel brighter, to feel happier, and just, they're saying rewarded, healed, right? It's the last quarter of the day or just the last chunk of the day where you need to take it easy, right? Don't do too much, but just dig for the inner strength. Heal oneself, fill up your cup once again so it feels like the beginning and the end of the day, and then make your way into Friday feeling 10 times better, and again, expecting the best. All right? So I hope this was truly helpful. Sending you so much love and light. Definitely go enjoy your Thursday, and I'll see you next time.